Whether it's organised cyber criminals for whom the current health crisis has just broadened their attack landscape, or opportunistic hackers with time on their hands, there's no doubting the rise in cyber attacks. Every day we're seeing reports of phishing and hacking attempts which have grown with the enforcement of remote working. Despite every kind deed we witnessed during this period, the world is full of people with malintent, and we are inadvertently opening the back door and inviting them in. The main issue is that the workforce, by setting up at home, have moved away from the security blanket of the workplace. In many cases, employees are relying on personal laptops, home computers, possibly shared computers, and even mobile phones to connect with their corporate networks. These endpoints are notoriously vulnerable, with 70% of breaches originating at the endpoint and as many as 42% being unprotected at any given time. With so many people using compromised devices, a weak link in the security chain is being prized open, and this could cause potentially devastating damage to businesses at what is already a very, very testing time. Of course, it is difficult to check for the security deficiencies of these home devices. Most enterprises will have little or no control over what software is running on the end device or what programs have previously been executed. And the manic rush to set up from home and protect the health of workers has left them with limited options for checking and addressing any deficiencies. Some will of course be using antivirus or internet security software, but for employers there's no way of knowing whether it's up to date or indeed sufficient to protect them, particularly when they are logging into the corporate network. For this reason, during the course of the coronavirus crisis, we believe that the cyber attacks on endpoints will rise by between 30 and 40%. One particular danger is phishing attacks. Researchers have reported that hundreds of thousands of spear phishing attacks have been launched. These include emails from bogus delivery companies offering an update on how coronavirus is impacting its operations, through to scammers posing as representatives of the WHO. Of course, if the attachment is opened, malware, including the particular phishing attack some are mentioned here, can be installed, which gives the attackers the opportunity then to steal the personal data, but also gain a backdoor into the corporate network. Another problem is with ransomware. This particular ransomware mentioned here tried to exploit a vulnerability with a particular VPN, which despite being patched quickly was not fast enough to stop people being targeted. VPNs are increasingly being used by enterprises to stop the corporate network from being exposed to the public internet. But of course, any chink in the armour that allows malicious code to bypass the security controls is dangerous. So how are we going to manage all this onslaught? Well, security companies are doing everything they can to help businesses and employers prevent and manage the situation. The challenge is that none of us know where the next attack will come from. And it's very, very difficult to educate this new remote workforce, which have been accustomed to the security features of their corporates and the corporate infrastructure. Here at SentryBay, we have a very diverse range of unique solutions that can ward off all of these threats. We specifically design and deploy security software that's installed and operates proactively on your end device. The SentryBay mission is to protect all data at the point of entry into your selected applications, irrespective of the undetected threats on your end user device, particularly when you're using remote access applications, VDI access, VPNs, web browsers, Microsoft Office, you name it, etc. I'd now like to introduce you to our flagship enterprise solution we call the SentryBay Armoured Client. It's a simple 3-click one-time download to the end user device. Once installed, the kernel level drivers intercept your keystrokes made by the user, even through virtual keyboards. That is, we grab your data first before anyone else does, and we simply obfuscate these entries and feed any keylogging malware that's there unusable information, i.e. scrambled data, whilst ensuring that the protected applications receive the valid data inputs. We're effectively the gatekeeper for data input, deciding what should receive those keystrokes against what should be fed nonsense. We also provide anti-screen capture technology, which prevents undetected malware grabbing your information presented on the screen. In many cases, we will display a data scrambler in the top right-hand corner of that selected application that we're protecting, thereby indicating that real-time protection is in force, working transparently in the background for the user. All of these technologies are then combined with what we call our secure framework technology, where we isolate the protected applications that we want to protect by running them under a one-time user account. This will protect them from non-system privileged malware, as well as employing anti-injection, anti-tampering measures. We do not need to detect the specific threats to defeat them. Our patented technology applies the security at all times, as I said, regardless of the presence of those threats. So let me be clear. We do not develop reactive solutions like antivirus or endpoint detection systems. These are trying to detect the malware in the first place. We actually complement and add value to these solutions, of course only if they're installed in the first place. The Armour client also includes an independent standalone secure browser component, which can provide additional protection for users accessing web-based services, web-based platforms. This secure browser is built by SentryBay and is based on Chromium. We remove all those security vulnerabilities which exist in standard browsers like Chrome, Firefox, etc. Elements like third-party extensions and plugins, removing access to developer tools, browser settings. We can effectively therefore customize and control the browser. We can customize what URLs, what sites you can access through a whitelisting facility, for certificate check, wide range of configurability there. And now I'm going to hand over to Adam Gurney, who will run through a demonstration for you. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Adam Gurney, and I'm one of the pre-sales technical consultants at SentryBay. Today, I'm going to demonstrate just how undetected malware is able to steal data from those commonly used applications, including web browsers and the Microsoft Office suite, namely Word and Excel. I have some visual tools here highlighted which mimic how those specific types of info-stealing malware can harvest and exfiltrate data from your system, including a keylogger and a screen capture application. Let's launch our keylogger. You'll now see it's running at the bottom of my screen, and it will capture everything we type through our keyboard. We'll also kick off our screen dumper. This will take a picture of the screen every few seconds and save them into this folder on our desktop. In a real attack situation, the collected keystrokes and screenshots would then be exfiltrated from this system to our attacker's server. To start things off, we'll launch our default browser, in this case Google Chrome, and we'll navigate to a popular banking website. We could have picked any example where sensitive or personal data is entered, say a corporate CRM, financial services, or healthcare portal. As we log into this website, you'll see how our keystrokes are being intercepted by the keylogger we have running at the bottom of the screen. The same applies when we open our top secret Microsoft Office Word document. Any additional text entered into this application is picked up by the keylogger, which will ultimately lead to a data breach. We also have our screen dumper tool running in the background. It has quietly been taking screenshots of both our browser activity and of our top secret documents, which contain data we do not want to leave our organization. Let's shift the focus to remote access solutions. We have a Citrix VDI session already established. The virtual desktop is run from our secure data center over a secure encrypted tunnel with enterprise levels of protection in that virtual environment. However, any data input or presented from that virtual desktop is at risk to the tools on the connecting machine. Again, as you can see, any data typed into that secure Citrix environment can be harvested by the keylogger, and we can steal the data displayed on the screen. This applies to all remote access technologies, not just Citrix. VMware Horizon, Windows Virtual Desktop, and the AWS Workspaces clients running on BYOD or managed devices are all at risk. Now we will demonstrate how by using the SentryBay Armour client, we can protect your applications and data against these specific threats. I have the Armour client running here on a virtual machine. We will run the same scenarios against the same files as we did previously. The banking website is open in our Armour client secure browser, and we have the keylogger operating at the bottom of the screen. However, you will now observe that the keylogger is receiving different data to that typed into the browser. That is the Armour client scrambling the real data to protect it. We are essentially feeding the keylogger rubbish whilst ensuring that the protected application, in this case our web browser, receives the correct data. The same applies to our screen capture tool. When a protected application is running, we will simply feed that tool a black screen, ensuring the data displayed to the user cannot be compromised. Any application can be protected by the Armour client. As you can see, we have launched Microsoft Word, and the Armour client will apply its security to the running process, including the anti-key login, as you can see. I've now launched our Citrix VDI session again, but this time through the Armour client. The data is now protected against those threats which exist on the connecting device. You will notice as soon as we close our protected application, in this case Citrix via the Armour client, the screen can be captured again. The SentryBay Armour client is a cloud-delivered solution. We provide a web-based configuration utility to customize an Armour client profile to best match the requirements of your users and their applications. It will allow the administrator within your organization or your IT partner to target those applications which need to be protected by the Armour client, from your standard web browsers, including Google Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer, to locally installed versions of Microsoft Office. Remote access clients can be selected, including the Citrix Workspace app and VMware Horizon, to protect VDI sessions from BYOD and unmanaged devices. The Armour client secure browser is also fully customizable using this utility, allowing you to add items to a URL whitelist, set bookmarks on a homepage, as well as improve your security profile by enforcing HTTPS and perform certificate checks on specific sites to protect against man-in-the-middle attacks. Screen sharing, remote control, and collaborative applications can also be whitelisted to ensure the anti-screen capture measures do not impact user activities while still ensuring the protections are active. Once an Armour client profile has been built out, it can be applied to the users within your organization, regardless of their location, dynamically updated as your security requirements change, or additional applications are deployed which need protecting. I hope you found this demonstration useful, and I thank you for your time.